Available and who's not tomorrow?
I believe Adu will be fine, and the other guys, Aaron will not, Ugana will not, and we got to hear on Z in the next couple days, or he will not. Let me, you guys know what the rule is. The NCAA has 45 days to make a judgment from the time he gets here. So there's still a couple weeks left in that. And so if we'd have got him in earlier, we would know. But it is what it is. It's not the NCAA, they got a choice. And again, they get information, they ask questions, they get answers, they ask questions, they get answers from the club and everybody. And that's where it is right now. Now my hope is they have enough information to make a decision before the game tomorrow. He's only practiced about 6 days with us, maybe 7 since he's been here, because he went 3 days, hurt, was out, came back, ramp up again, and 3 or 4 days. But it would be nice to throw him in the game and reward him for all that he's been through.
How's he coming along with that now that you've seen him back in practice? First, you said it was kind of catching up.
He's a basketball player, but the roughness of the game and some of that stuff, he'll be behind. Conditioning, he'll be behind. He lost from when he had food poisoning, he lost 12 pounds. Now he's back up to 238 now. So.
You talked a lot about guards rebounding tomorrow night. That's got to be something that's really important for this team.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Kansas is the #1 team in the country and should be. They're not going to beat themselves. They play hard. They're very aggressive. They'll play fast when they can. This is one of Bill's, the kind of team where he's going inside. So they're going high-low stuff and short roll stuff on pick and rolls and get the ball to the middle of the court and go. And then they shoot it and go get it. They're really good. They're a veteran team, the older players. And we got young guys. We don't know how they'll respond. I'm hoping they respond. Sometimes they're so young, they don't know. So they just go play well. If you remember Maxey, didn't know better. He went up to New York and played like out of his mind. Now we did see he got 50 last night, so maybe he was capable of that more, but so I don't know what to expect. We're just trying to prepare. We're not changing a whole lot. This is who we are. Let's figure it out. Waiting on a big. Trey's been great. Adu being back is big. In this game, if we didn't have Adu there, it would be really hard. It'd be really hard.
With Aaron, when he does get back to practice, I mean, what's a real expectation of him being able to actually play in a game after that and then play meaningful minutes after that? I have no idea. Until
I get him back and he's on the court, I'd be guessing.
Well, that's going to be made about how you guard their bigs, not a bunch of bigs, but can you use that mismatch to your advantage on offense?
Well, they'll play one guy in and then one guy out. Trey's pretty good out there. So is Hunter. I mean, he's pretty good out there. So they do a lot of flip screens and different things with him out, so they can short roll him and throw it. You know, they do some side stuff where they look to lob to him. In our case would be, all right, what do we put them in to bring people out? Like maybe all 5 out, including the 4-man. But I told the staff, we're not changing. We got young guys. Go play loose and free and have fun, and let's see who we are right now. It's our 3rd game. I mean, this is literally a brand new team. So we've showed signs of really good, and then we've showed signs of, oh my gosh, we have to be better than this, which is typical.
On that subject, through 2 games, what do you like and what do you not like specifically?
Well, we had to start being more physical, and we did. But early on, I was saying, if this is who we are, you're going to have trouble winning games. So we're more physical. I'm really surprised at how fast we are as a team, that we can get out and go. as far as screening, again, that becomes physical. We're not a great screening team yet, but we're gonna have to be that. And even though we're spacing out, you're setting ball screens, you're setting pin down screens, you're doing different things that we can do. And then the other stuff has been like the start of the last game. Just so you know, I'm normally, I won't look at the scoreboard for as much as I don't need to. I know if I need to call a timeout, I'd see what's happening, timeout. But I didn't know we were down 13 last game. If I did, I probably would have. But then we just keep playing, we come back. So you can't have those kind of starts. And you know how you have them? You're playing and the other team makes 3 or 4 shots and you miss 3 or 4 shots, and some of them point blank, wide open. You're gonna be down 12. It doesn't matter who you play. If they're making shots, and you could say, well, they haven't made shots, they do against us. So, you know, there are times you're playing really good teams, you gotta exchange. They're making a couple, fine, let's us make a couple. Let's keep this thing to where we're trying to create a gap. But I'll say it, they're big, they're athletic, they're aggressive defensively. They're a terrific rebounding team. They block shots. They go get balls. So,
On that note,
hard game.
On that note, as far as starting 13 points down or whatever, did you use that as kind of a teaching moment for those guys going into a big game like tomorrow?
I showed them because I said I didn't realize it was that bad. So I showed them the first 5 minutes. Now, if I remember right, I called a timeout in that start. Like, okay, no. I didn't need to look at the scoreboard. I could tell you what was going on. And to be honest, I'm trying to tell them, don't look at the scoreboard. Well, no, let us do the coaching, you do the playing. So, you know, this is a group that's skilled, passing, dribbling, shooting. You know, we gotta shoot a little bit better than we're shooting it. But, you know, the decision making is usually pretty good, but this team is going to push out and deny and do stuff, and you know, you're hoping you get some back doors on them. You know, loosen it up. You space the court and see how they play then.
John, we know Hunter can score obviously, but he's sneaky. I mean, he's tricky down there. He's got experience down in the post. How important is it for Trey? Obviously, not getting foul trouble either, knowing the lack of depth with the big.
Yep, it's not a touchdown. If he gets you in a bad spot, give him the basket. It's not a touchdown. We'll score in 15 seconds and we're good. So, you know, we're talking, but it's all these guys. We're playing 7, 8 guys.
John, I know the focus is on Kansas in this year's team, but last week you guys were able to announce both Boogie Flan and Santos Cyril coming for 24. Can you speak to their recruitments, what intrigued you?
Yeah, they're both signed. We got some other stuff in the works, but those are 2 that are signed. So, Santos made unbelievable strides. You know, he is a dominating, he's one of those bigs, there's just not many of them anymore, which rim run, blocking shots, big rebounder, getting better offensively, but he's more of the older school, but he's so strong and so big and blocking shots and rebounding, he's kind of like a unicorn that way. And then you got Boogie, guys want to play with him. He's one of those point guards that makes everybody better. You know, he can score it. He's a good shooter. He finds people. And what I've seen, there are times that he's off the charts. Like he'll go to these events and all-star stuff and end up being the best player in the court. And my thing is, why isn't that you all the time? You come here, that's our challenge. How do we get you every practice, every game? And when I say to you, it's that motor. It's not making shots. It's not that you don't ever turn it over, but you play at a pace and an intensity level. When he's as good as there is. So.
John, how's the communication on the floor with this team? Do these guys like to talk to each other?
They're getting better. DJ's unbelievable. You'd think he was a senior the way he talks and runs the team, and that's why putting the ball is in his hands. But I'll be honest with you, thinking that the way Reed's playing, when he and Reed are in there together, I may run DJ up the court and let him play ahead of the team, because Reed will find you. And I say that because last year at Camden, they had a point guard that ended up going to St. Louis. DJ was as much off the ball as he was on the ball. So he can play both, but the biggest thing is if he's ahead and it's 2-on-2 or 3-on-3, he's a handful. But right now he's playing 5-on-5, and it makes it tough turnover.
How beneficial is it to have really a few guys, but especially somebody like Reed who can bring it up and start the action and then go off ball and do some other stuff?
I love him because of his hands and his deflections and his court awareness. Hits the right guy, threw one up the middle. Why'd you do that? You know, when he had a guy on the wing wide open. And, you know, I'll tell you the other guy, Robert. You know, I mean, if you had watched him and now you see him, he's a totally different player. He's gained the weight, but he's not playing like it's and one or showtime. He's just playing basketball. If he has shots, he shoots them. I just keep telling him, he's one of those guys that can make a really ridiculously tough shot look easy. Be that. Don't make a layup look hard. It's a layup. Just lay it in. But he is, the strides he's made, you know, I'm enjoying every day walking in and coaching them. They want to be coached. Like I said, DJ, whatever you tell him, he's going to do. Like, okay. And then he'll go do it. You don't have to tell him 3 times. The one thing with he and Justin, both are too tough on themselves. You gotta let stuff go. You miss it. Like, I'm watching these two shoot in the gym, and DJ's making as much as anybody. But he misses 1 or 2, then you can't. You let it go. You know, so Justin is the same. Justin is probably a key for us, and not just this game, I'm talking the season, because he can help us get easy baskets. And the team that's getting the most easy baskets is the team that's going to win the game. He helps us by flying up and down the court. In the open court, if it's him and a guy, he'll get a basket, and he can offensive rebound with any of them. So if he keeps playing like that and builds on that, what else we talked about that he could do? Make free throws. So how about get fouled? Don't worry about flipping a ball up. Worry about going there and get fouled. And if he does that, you know, it stops us. It sets up our defense.
John, in years past, you know, the Champions Classic was game 1, you know, for you guys and these other teams. Did you like that better?
No.
Okay. Well,
No. So it was hard. I mean, you're playing a really good team, and our team was really young, like all freshmen, and you're walking in, your first game is on national television against a team like that? No. Matter of fact, pushed for us to move it back a little bit. I thought the games would be better. Was Duke our first game when we beat them in Chicago?
12? Yes. Yeah.
Was that the first game of the season?
No.
No, I don't think it was.
It wasn't 15.
It was Tyler Eulis and then Maxey and that group. Michigan State was #1 in the country. Was that our first game?
That was.
Yeah.
Nah, maybe we should play.
You were number 2, I think.
Coach, staying on the game coming up, you know, big time national television. You spoke earlier about, like, you just got to see. How have you guys been approaching it with these freshmen? Also, Tone's going home. Like, how have you been approaching this game? Is it just another game, or are you special?
No, you're saying that, you know, there's a difference between like playing hard and being a dog. The dog beats a guy to balls. He's the first one to the floor. He's helping his teammate. He's talking. He's physical. He's going to block out every time. He's looking for a body, not running from a body. That's a dog. We're going to find out who the dogs are on this team. And my thing to him is play free and loose. You're going to make mistakes, so what? We're at our best when we fly. Okay, then what do we have to do to be able to fly? You better defend and make it a tough shot. You better rebound. If you can get in gaps and steal balls, that's fine. But those other 2 got to be a must. And then what are we doing when we run if they're back there? Because they're a good team. They're not going to give us, you're not going to see 3-on-2, 3-on-1 15, 18 times in this game. It's not. So if they're back there, what are we doing? How are we playing? I'm trying to make it clear and kind of simple, to be honest.
Last one too.
Cal, with Hunter, he was really blunt, especially after the recruitment, about NIL being been such a huge factor. Did that change your vision one way or the other on the transfer portal guys in general, or
No.
is that just still a non-starter with?
No, I mean, it's, you know, every recruitment is different, you know. It's kind of like Europe right now. You're going in, and NIL in the United States has some of these guys, you know, and the European kid, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, what is going on here? And so if it really is important to some guys, then it's really important, but this is what we are and how we do it here. So, and it never got to that with Hunter. He never came at me with, you gotta do this, and that you got, if he had done that, then I probably would have, you know, walked, but he never did that. That's not what he did. And, you know, I know how good he is, but let's see how good we are. I mean, you're playing the #1 team in the country, well-coached, Hall of Fame coach. Like, you're not gonna walk in and say, we're gonna trick them. No, there's not gonna be any tricking. They're not gonna trick us, we're not gonna trick. Here's how they play, here's how we play. Who's making shots? You know, who's executing the best? Like, as I watch their tape, they're, for them being a new team, even though they're old, they execute pretty well. And I watched the Illinois game. That was, again, a first game, you know, and they had to go on the road, and they had their chances to win that game too.
Do you like coaching against Phil?
What's that?
Do you like coaching against Phil? Or is it a pain in the butt?
No, look, first of all, I don't like coaching against friends, because if he wins, I'm mad, and if I win, I feel bad for him. So I don't like coaching against people that have a friendship with. But you know, the other thing, you walk in a game and say, all right, that's, you know, and at the end of the day, we've beaten them, they've beaten us, we've beaten them, they've beaten us. Most times it's, how do I get this group to play the best? He's trying to figure it out with his team. How do I get this group to play the best? And I'm trying to do the same, but I got to get some of these big kids back so I can really see, you know, what it's